Hi, Stan. Yeah, I'm really sorry I missed your call. I just got off a late shift at work, and I had to run to make the cab, and, what? I thought the deadline wasn't for another 2 weeks. He said that? Lack of creativity. I've got a draft right here. I mean, I guess I can make it work. It's not like you're really giving me a choice on this one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll let you know.
can only tell you what I remember, though I know without a doubt that my memory has been broken. The music. That music! Can you hear it? You will. One can never forget the music of Eric Zahn. I can't remember how I came to live at such a place in Paris, but I was not myself when I moved there. I had been living in many poor places, always evicted for lack of money, until at last I came upon that tottering house on the Rue d'Orsay. The street lay across a dark river, and it was bordered by precipitous brick blear-windowed warehouses and spanned by a ponderous bridge of dark stone. I've never seen a street as narrow and steep as the Rue d'Orsay. It was closed off to all vehicles and consisting of several flights of steps. The buildings were tall, incredibly old, peaked-roofed, and crazily leaning backwards and forwards and sideways, and certainly they kept most of the light from the ground below. It was the third house from the top of the hill, and by far the tallest of them all. My room was on the 5th floor, and it was the only inhabited one there. The house itself was almost empty, save a few strange denizens. It began the night I arrived. While sitting in my room, I could hear music creep down from the corner tower above me. Its weirdness was haunting. No relation to any music I had ever heard before. And while I don't know a whole lot about the art, I could tell that this string player was a composer of highly original genius. After hearing that unearthly music every day for about 2 weeks, I could not stand it anymore. My dreams grew wild and strains filled my head every minute of the day. Compelled to discover the source of this music for myself, I peered over the dusty building directory and found the name of that lonely tower's resident. That was the day that Eric Zahn changed my life forever. I followed the music up the leaning spiral staircase to the tower door. Pressing my ears against the door, the music was so close that I could not help but gain chills up my spine. Then the music stopped abruptly. Feeling awkward in my eavesdropping, I stood to knock quickly. The door opened to a peculiar sight. Eric Zahn was a small, lean, bent old man with shabby clothes, blue eyes, a grotesque, satyr-like face, and a nearly bald head. At first he seemed both angered and frightened by my presence, but my obvious friendliness eased his fright, and he gestured me to enter. The room seemed vast, but that was perhaps because there was barely anything inside. The walls were of bare boards, and had probably never known plaster, while the abundance of dust and cobwebs made the place seem more deserted than inhabited. Evidently, Eric Zahn's world of beauty lay in some far cosmos of the imagination. I asked him if he would play something for me. He stared back with those piercing blue eyes, and then began to play. I recognized the air. It was some Hungarian dance popular in the theater. I raised my hand to interrupt him and asked him if he would play some of his own music. He just stared back, so I offered him a portion of the tune by whistling. After a moment, he let me go and made further apologetic gestures. He then began to write something, and it dawned on me that this man could not speak. I peered over his shoulder to read the poorly written French, which promised to explain everything. But then I saw Zahn start in a horrible shock. Unmistakably, he was looking to the tower window, listening shudderingly. And then I heard a sound myself, an exquisitely low and infinitely distant musical note. Upon Zahn, the effect was terrible, for, dropping his pencil, he suddenly rose and began to rend the night with what would be the most wild playing I would hear from any bow. It's practically impossible to describe the playing of Eric Zahn on that dreadful night. It was more horrible than anything I had ever overheard, for now I could see the expression on his face and saw that the motive was not a burning artistic fervor, but stark fear. He was trying to make a noise, to ward something out or drown something off. What? I could not imagine, awful though I felt it must be. His playing grew delirious, hysterical, and fantastic, and maintaining the same qualities of supreme genius that I knew this strange old man possessed. Louder and louder, wilder and wilder mounted the shrieking and wailing of that desperate viola. The player was dripping with an uncanny perspiration and twisted like a monkey, always staring frantically at the curtained window. And then I heard another sound, a shriller, steadier note that was not from the viola. A calm, deliberate, purposeful, mocking note from far away in the west. At this juncture, the shutter began to rattle in a howling night wind, which had sprung up outside as if in response to the mad playing within. Zahn's viola now outdid itself, emitting sounds I never thought a viola could emit. I looked at Zahn and saw that he was beyond conscious observation. His blue eyes were bulging, glassy, and sightless, while his playing had become a blind, mechanical, unrecognizable orgy. I felt my eyes being pulled towards his window, the only window in the Rue d'Orsay from which one might see the slope beyond the wall and the city outspread beneath. Yet when I stared from the tallest of all apartment windows, stared while the candles sputtered and the insane viola howled in the night wind, I saw no city spread before me, and no friendly lights gleamed from remembered streets. Only the blackness of space immeasurable, space alive with motion and music, having no semblance of anything on earth. And as I stood there looking in terror, the blackness enveloped the room! I was in the midst of a savage, impenetrable darkness, with chaos and pandemonium before me, and the demon madness of that night-bang viola behind me. I staggered back in the dark, crashing into the table, and finally groping my way to the place where the blackness screamed. A shocking music! I could at least try and save myself and Eric Zahn from whatever power opposed me. I then felt some chill thing brush me, and I wanted to scream! I felt blindly ahead, and found it shook Zahn's shoulder, but he did not respond. Still the viola shrieked on without slackening. I moved my hand to his head, whose mechanical nodding I was able to stop, and shouted, "We must both flee from this unknown thing!" But he neither answered nor abated his frenzy upon uttering music. All through the tower, strange forces of wind seemed to dance in the darkness about me. When I felt his ear, I shuddered, though I knew not why until I felt his still face, his ice-cold, stiffened, unbreathing face, whose glassy eyes bulged uselessly into the void. This was a human face no longer. And then, by some miracle, finding the door in the large wooden bolt, I plunged wildly away from that glassy-eyed thing that was once Zahn, and especially from the ghoulish howling of that accursed viola, leaping, flying, floating down the endless stairs through the dark house, racing mindlessly through the steep, narrow, and ancient street of steps and tottering houses, panting across the great dark bridge to the broader, healthier streets and boulevards we know. I looked up and saw that the moon was out. All the lights of the city were twinkling, and there wasn't even a hint of wind. I have not since been able to find the Rue d'Orsay, Not in modern maps or old ones. But even if I did, I do not think I could go back to that undreamable abyss. But I can't get it out! Who could ever resist the music of Eric Zahn?
Oh, I believe we met. You were training. Oh, yes. It's nice to meet you. Again.
Honey, I'm going to show Lisa around to the rest of our coworkers.
Oh,
she's still new here, so she's still networking. If you'll excuse us.
Did you know at the time what was going on between the two of them?
I didn't want to believe it. I went home early, and kicked off my shoes, poured myself a glass of wine, and I heard the sound of laughter coming from upstairs. Naturally, I went to check it out. What I found felt like deja deja vu. You bitch!
Honey, I can explain.
There's no need to overreact. It was an accident. A one-time thing.
Like hell, it was an accident. I didn't want to believe the way you two were looking at each other at the party and the locked door
It didn't
at your work. I just never thought he would be with such a tramp. And you, how dare you bring another woman into our lives?
You think I'm the other woman? Stupid bitch. I'm the only woman in his life. I give him what he wants to get me well. Whatever. I've never had what it takes to keep the man like him. He wants beauty, he wants glamour, he wants someone who is young. What if I find a woman like heat and passion? A lioness, a perfect good sight.
That person once and will always be the person he loves and holds and whispers, I love you. Don't you see he's all mine?
You're just so insecure about who you are and who you were to keep the man like him. Take a look at who you are, and then you'll see the problem. It's not him and it's not me, it's you. Only you
I don't want to lie to you.
He's just not in love with you anymore.
I know it's hard to accept.
And move on.
You have to understand that this was not an accident.
Don't you lie to me. You are an animal.
You're acting crazy.
Don't call me crazy. Don't you understand that you are mine?
Honey, please, I'm sorry. I was stupid. I haven't been myself lately. You know that.
Yeah.
Things at work have been so hectic. And Lisa,
What about Lisa?
well, she was there. Don't let this ruin what we have. Come back to me, baby.
You ask me to stay. You ask me to come back around. You are nothing but a fantasy of what I wanted and I can never have. You make me believe your lies, your whispers, and your empty promises. You take what you want and leave nothing but emptiness. You touch and grope, scratch and pull. You take what you want and leave me until you come back again with saccharine words, with flowers and kisses, your arrogance. You beg and you cry, you ask for my pity, but I'm not
Thank you.